Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. At least I hope we're live. You know, it always takes a moment for chat to show up and for me to make sure that things are operating properly on this end. So give me just one moment to see if all things are looking good. I think we're good. Operating properly on this end. Yep, we're good. Well, welcome in that case, once again to PGN Live. How are you all doing today? We've got the pop out chat ready to roll. IK, it's JF is already here. Welcome. Thank you for being here early as we just kicked off this stream a moment ago. Start of a brand new week. We've got some shorts to go over, some video game rumors, and see what you're all interested in. As August is wrapping up, we've got just a few days left in the month, and then it's off to September. That means also the very likely reality of a Nintendo Direct or two or three. You know, we've got plenty of rumors going on in the Nintendo Direct conversation, so we'll see what happens, but it's exciting to speculate. What are you all hoping shows up at this Nintendo Direct? I kind of want to know, well, two things. One, what do you all want to see at the Nintendo Direct? But then also, what do you want out of a potential Super Mario Bros. 40th Anniversary Direct? Do you want it to be its own, like, 17-minute or so presentation that Nintendo holds sometime in September? Or do you want there to be like one more big grand Nintendo Direct in September that has the Mario anniversary celebration be a part of it? Or what? I'm just curious. Let's see. IK, it's JF. I can't wait to get my Switch 2. Ooh, exciting. I get mine in a couple days because I was supposed to get it on launch, but it got delivered damaged. Oh man, that's rough. Dang, that doesn't sound very fun. I'm sorry to hear that it was damaged upon delivery at launch. Was it an issue from like the delivery folks just tossed it on your porch or something like that, or was it a Staplegate issue? What was the damage? Sorry to hear that. That does stink. But I am happy to hear that you get it in a couple of days. That's exciting. You're going to love it. You know, it's still a super new system. And at this point, you're going to get more out of it, kind of, than if you did on day one. Because now, well, Donkey Kong Bonanza is out. Now, you do have more options. Like, you've got WWE 2K25 or Madden NFL 2026, right? You've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. You've got Kirby and the Forgotten Land DLC that comes out this Thursday. And of course, you've got Mario Kart World and Fast Fusion and Street Fighter 6 and Cyberpunk 2077. So, like, you've got plenty at your disposal when you pick it up in just a couple days. So that's really exciting. You're going to have a good time. I'm happy. You want a new 3D Mario game? Oh, yeah, me too. I really want to see Nintendo's artists, their teams, all of the super talented people that work there put those efforts on this powerful of hardware, the most powerful they've ever worked with. Because we've seen generation after generation the beautiful things that Nintendo has done. You know, you look at Super Mario Galaxy, and Wii was a significantly less powerful machine than, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 of the time, and a little bit more powerful than GameCube, its predecessor. Yet Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 looked terrific. Nintendo did so much with it. You look at Super Mario Odyssey, not as powerful of a machine was Nintendo Switch compared to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, yet Super Mario Odyssey was a really good looking game. It ran smooth, had a nice frame rate, perfectly fine resolution, big beautiful levels, and just such a blast. Now you look at that Nintendo Switch 2 hardware, now you look at DLSS, and even without it, just the pure specs of the machine, and we see, Donkey Kong Bonanza is a good example of their art team and how far they can push the envelope. And that's a almost launch game. Nintendo, they tap more out of the machine as the generation goes on. So if we're getting a brand new 3D Mario game in like 2026, dude, that thing is going to look so cool. I'm so excited. Brandon White, hello. Roman, hello. Welcome. I'm glad you're both here. Thanks for hopping in to the stream. I think Nintendo is going to be always less powerful than other consoles, but I love the ecosystem and the community. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Holy cow, Roman with a $10 super chat. That came out of nowhere. That's still really exciting for me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Roman. That's really, really nice of you. And like I said, I'm unexpectedly surprised and delighted, and it means a lot because, I've only started to stream more recently within the last couple of weeks. I have yet to have like a designated stream time of, okay, every this day at this time. So these have been just popping up randomly, but this super chat is such a nice treat, and I'm really grateful for anybody being here. But the fact that you would be willing to donate to the channel and be supportive is that extra miles worth of gratitude that you have. So thank you so much, Roman. That's really nice of you. Awesome to see. I'm gonna have to put this up here. That's why I put this up here, to like, no one has to donate anything, but in the event that you do, a little sign of some extra thanks, a nice boost, because you just gave me a nice boost. Like in my day, I had fun making today's super chat. Or not super chat. I had fun making today's short. It was the GoldenEye 007 short, which we've got to get to the shorts in a moment, because that's been new on the channel lately, and that's been a lot of fun. Yeah, let me put this up here. That's cool. I don't know, you got a favorite color? Otherwise, I want to make it pop. I was thinking, like a orange. Orange would pop, right? Yeah, orange. We'll go with orange. Something that will pop. Okay. Well, thank you, Roman, one more time. That's really cool of you. I don't have the fanciest look going on right here. But I'm trying to make it cool, and at the end of the day, a sign of me saying thank you. Roman, boom, with the $10. That look good? Yeah, that looks good. Cool, awesome. Well, despite the presentation here not looking super crisp and clear with bells and whistles and stuff flopping, flying off and all of that, the gratitude inside is very real, so thanks a lot. Let's see, what else we got? Egomaniac 87, hey. Roman, anything is fine. I just wanted to show support. But thanks a lot. Thank you for being cool with however it looks and whatever color was used. And the support means a lot. Yeah, it really does. Freddie Mercury, hello from Greece. Well, hello. And this is the not the problem, but this does come into mind when I'm thinking, what is a good time to be regular? Because I know that YouTube shows me in the analytics most of my audience is coming out of United States. But there are folks from all over, like Freddie Mercury is in Greece. People will show up in this stream and say, "Hey, I'm from Germany, I'm from Spain, I'm from Australia." And I'm like, that's a lot of folks. So to have different streams at different times of the day would be good. Maybe more than one stream a day. We'll see. I don't know. Oh, I do got to get back to that IK it's JF comment, because that is something that as an old school gamer I want to touch on a little bit. Brandon White, hey Paul, did you break Bonanza or are you still working through it? I beat it. Yeah, I beat it. I beat it on the 14-day mark. And if you're asking, oh no, that's a different physical or digital or both. Is that question to me regarding Donkey Kong Bonanza? I don't know if that's it. If it is, I'll answer both questions at the same time. I got the physical cartridge edition of Donkey Kong Bonanza, and unfortunately, and in a weird way, it's the only cartridge that I have for Nintendo Switch 2 yet. Here I got the system at launch. I'm a physical medium guy vast majority of the time, yet I couldn't pass up on the Mario Kart World fact of it being $50 here, included in that $500 bundle, or $88 here. And you might say, 88, why? $80 plus tax. So there's a $38 difference. And I'm like, even though I would have preferred that be my first cartridge, first game, tangible in nature and all of that, $38 was too hard to justify, having it. And then, like Split Fiction, digital only. Fast Fusion, understandably, smaller game, digital. Welcome Tour, small, cheap, got it from GameStop for $9.50, digital only, totally got it. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, digital only. Like, for crying out loud, dude, like everything is digital. Street Fighter 6, digital only. Even if I wanted to get the game key card of Street Fighter 6, it would have taken up the same amount of storage space on my hard drive as if I got it digitally. So it didn't make any sense for me to get the game key card, because the digital version takes up the same amount of space, and it would also have the benefit of always being on my system and me never having to take something in and out. If it was physical cartridge with all the data on it, then I would have no problem coming from the couch back and forth to swap it in and swap it out. But otherwise, I went digital with Street Fighter 6. So finally, Donkey Kong Bonanza came out, and I bought it, and I have that nice red cartridge, and it's the only cartridge that I own so far on the system. Of course, I have a huge Nintendo Switch backlog of mostly physical games, but some digital in there. And yeah, I beat Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think 40 hours and 10 minutes was my playtime when I beat it. And at the time, around like 70% of like the total bananas and all fossils and music and everything like that. I put a post on X of like just how much did I get out of it, and it was terrific. Then came the post-game content that I've been playing a little bit here and there the last few weeks, and it's just such a fire game. It's so good. Going back to IKSJF earlier, on Nintendo consoles being less powerful and being okay with it, back in the day, there was nothing like touting this system has the better graphics. No, this one has the better graphics. And even though I was a fan of all things gaming, I was bigger of a fan of Super Nintendo than Sega Genesis, because I only had one system between the two. I was already a fan of the NES, as I owned that as my first main system, and Nintendo Entertainment System was better to me than Atari 2600 or the Sega Master System. And then Nintendo 64 came out, but before it, I played PlayStation. I rented PlayStation, did not own it yet though, and bought Nintendo 64. So until I guess the next generation kicked off, owning a Sega Dreamcast, a Nintendo GameCube, a PlayStation 2, and an Xbox in that order. For the first few generations, I was just a Nintendo console owner. So yeah, you stuck by your system's side and you fought for your system, and you could appreciate and acknowledge what the other system had, but you believed in yours, right? And I gotta say, like, up until part of it might be a little bit of biased nature because, well, I didn't have a Master System and a Sega Genesis and a Sega Saturn and a PlayStation. I just had an NES, a Super NES, and a Nintendo 64. So there's a little bit of a biased nature in this statement, but I played enough of the competition that I think this is also accurate in how I feel because I was around that generation. I looked at things pretty evenly. Nintendo games, or games on Nintendo's systems during that era, looked the best. You look at third-party games, look at how they ran, etc. I would have picked up more often than not the game that ran on Super Nintendo over its Sega Genesis counterpart. Nintendo's top-looking titles on Nintendo 64 from them and from Rare and stuff like that than what PlayStation had to offer. Not that others didn't have other attributes that were able to outperform Nintendo 64 in this capacity, etc. But overall, I think those three generations, the Nintendo hardware had the better looking software. And I would even say up until Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox. GameCube and Xbox were factually more powerful, more capable than PlayStation 2. And GameCube and Xbox, they actually traded blows a little bit back and forth where one could do a little bit more than the other here or there. So which one looked better? You would find some games that looked better here and some there. Overall, I'd give it to GameCube as a little bit of a nudge. Like, what was Xbox's best looking game? Something in the Ninja Gaiden Gears of War area. And on Nintendo GameCube, you got Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, Resident Evil 4, Metroid Prime 2, Wind Waker, different types of looks. Anyways, boy, we went off tangent. But yeah, GameCube, the last time they were in the hardware race for pure specs and power was, that 2001 console. Then we went very different route in 2006. They needed to shake up the industry, which probably was for the best with Wii. Wii U was the most powerful system for a hot minute. And then, it got totally overshadowed by PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Nintendo Switch was really that Wii U dream come true, because here it was quite capable compared to what PS4 and Xbox One had to offer, but fully portable, which was amazing. And then now Nintendo Switch 2, it's like, yeah, it's not as strong as a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X at the end of the day, but it is overall a little bit more producing of visuals and performance than Xbox Series S. And that's saying a lot, because here you have a $450 machine that's also still completely portable, closer in capability to PS5 and Xbox Series as a brand than Nintendo Switch was to PS4 and Xbox One. And these new systems of PS5 and Xbox Series, even though they're on the verge of turning 5, they don't feel like they've really hit their stride. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a successor to one of them at the earliest, like November 2026, which seems kind of early. But even then, I'm like, I don't know if everyone's going to make that jump so immediately, because a lot of people are probably going to feel like, dude, why did I buy this PS5 or Xbox Series? It's barely 5 years old, and I don't have as many games as I had the previous generation. Oh, so they're still doing this backwards slash future compatibility thing where they're making this version on this system and this version on this system. And yeah, the PS6, the Xbox Next will look a little bit better, but they're still going to be supporting what I have now for a while. Yeah, maybe I don't need to, upgrade immediately, which also is going to give Nintendo Switch 2 a longer life. And people are going to maximize it more, and you're going to see Nintendo Switch 2 have a very good generation to come, I think. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Well, that was fun to kind of deep dive in there. Let's see. We're going all over here. Richard Pauly, you got the bundle. Nice. Anyone here having virtual game card issues across multiple Switches? I do like that you can share your virtual games across systems, but would have liked that it could be more than two. But I understand why. It's, to keep it limited in some capacity. Because in my household, I have a Nintendo Switch, a Nintendo Switch OLED model, and a Nintendo Switch 2. And technically I have, you can see it right over there, the unopened Zelda edition of the Nintendo Switch Lite. And yeah, we've got the virtual cards on the Nintendo Switch 2 and then on the OLED model. But it would be nice if it could be shared on a third, but I don't have any issues on the 2. Freddie Mercury, you're 42 years old. Hey, that's a good age. I'm right there with you. My favorite game of all time is Zelda Ocarina of Time. Dang, that's awesome. Great taste. My favorite game of all time was The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time until 2018, when I allowed the mantle to pass and officially made that decision. Yep, Breath of the Wild is the new number one for me. But yeah, Ocarina is wonderful. I'd love a remake. Oh, I've got ideas for a remake. I think it'll happen. Egomaniac 87. You got the Mario Kart bundle. Use the $30 to get NSO expansion. Hey, that's a good deal. I read that. Oh, so hold on. I'm rereading some because I'm at that part where Richard's talking about Bonanza. Brian and White taking her time. Yeah, take your time. Don't rush. Brian C. Welcome. Egomaniac 87 Super stomped all over the Genesis. You see, if you grew up in that generation, that's how you talk. People don't get it. People think fanboy nature. Why would you support this company? You don't know the employees. They're not your brother, sister, mom, dad, spouse. It makes no difference to you if PlayStation is winning the console war or Nintendo. Why do you care if Xbox games are here or there? Why do you care what sells more or that? Why do you... Those same people that don't get why there is a sense of loyalty really have to look at themselves and say, don't you root for a sports team? Don't you prefer the Chicago Bulls over the Boston Celtics? Don't you prefer the 49ers over the LA Rams? Don't you prefer one thing over the other? Do you say, yeah, DC is better than Marvel, or Marvel's better than DC? Now, where I come in and say, I might have things that are my favorite, I might root for one more, but I'm going to enjoy everything. You know what I mean? Like, I could have a favorite superhero or a favorite comic book company or a favorite, piece of sci-fi from like the likes of Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever. And I might have, one that I like more than the other or one team more than the other. But what I don't have is an unnecessary hatred for the other. If anything, I want to like as many things as possible. Do I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles more than Street Sharks? Yeah, but I like Street Sharks. And I'm glad that Street Sharks came out because it brings something new to the table. I was still able to watch that show. Heck, my wife, her friend's parents were the writers for that show, so that's cool. And competition makes Ninja Turtles IP better and work harder so that they don't get complacent and that they have competition that they have to, strive to compete against. And I'm able to become a fan of Street Sharks and buy their toys and continue to buy Ninja Turtles and their toys and their movies and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Turtles is my DNA and I'm a bigger fan of that, but you could like more than one thing. And that's how I look at video games. But what I don't like is when somebody says, oh, you shouldn't be a fanboy, you should accept all things evenly when it comes to video games, when those same people probably have a sports team that they favor and their mom, dad, brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, isn't a player on that team, doesn't know who they are, what their name is. They didn't go to the same school together. They're not neighbors. So why would you care? Because you develop a little bit of a fandom for something. You develop a little bit of a bonding to something. And that's where our fandom comes. There's a difference of fandomness, though, and favoring something than wanting something else to fail or hating something unnecessarily so. You know what I mean? Anyways, I see that and I'm like, that's from my era. That's the era. That's how you talk. From Egomaniac 87. Prime 4 probably come out in October. It might. Excited for Prime 4. Still have a backlog. Mario Odyssey, Tears, Brothership, a lot more. Yeah, I know what that's like. Heck, I have downloaded, and it's now on my system, the Star-Crossed Allies DLC for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. We started playing it again recently, over the weekend, in fact, and gosh, the game is so good. But I'm like, hey guys, if you wait for a little bit, you're really going to like this upgrade. But yeah, let's play right now. Let's see what the visuals look like now, what the frame rate looks like now. And just wait, Thursday, this game's getting souped up with a brand new coat of paint. Well, kind of. It's getting up-resed and improved in other regards. Gonna have a whole bunch of new splashy effects over here, and then a whole new, kind of sequel, like this DLC. So, we refreshed ourselves, and then we're super stoked for this Thursday. Brandon White, you're enjoying Switch 2 versions and upgrades? Heck yeah. Small Little Man, hello, welcome. Michael Gutmann, welcome. Good to see some familiar faces, some new faces in here. Ooh, trying to beat Hollow Knight before Silksong. Yeah, that's coming up really soon. 9 days, something like that? 9 days? Yeah. Got the Shade Cloak, cool. Yeah, trying to beat it. Elden Ring looks a bit iffy. So, Elden Ring looks like it's running fine in docked mode, but in portable, it is having some significant issues. Not by any means unplayable, but not desirable. Now, I think that there's enough time to iron out the kinks, but time will tell, Oh, that demo can't have been up to the last week of development because these demos take months to prepare, and I imagine it has been prepared as of a few months ago, so the build is probably from a few to several months ago. So by now, it's likely improved, and by the time the game comes out, it will likely be further improved. At least let's hope, right? And that's not wishful thinking or stretching the goalpost, moving the goalpost. That's just the way gaming works and development works. Things take time, things get better closer to release. Is it a guarantee? Don't know. I haven't talked to, Bandai Namco from Software and asked them this question, but just based off of my history and talking to developers, I could tell you, yeah, things are probably going to get better. Almost 100% guaranteed are going to improve. By how much, that I don't know, though. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, not a finished version of Elden Ring. Hope they fix a little bit of the difficulty in Silksong. Yeah, maybe there'll be different modes. I don't know. We'll see. Might be a different mode, like a classic or an easier, maybe. Yep, optimization. Switch 2 is a perfectly capable machine. Got tongue tied there. They just need to iron things out. More time with the hardware spent. Brian C, do you know any good news, sales numbers slash stats of anything Switch 2 related? Yeah, last Thursday I talked about the Famitsu sales coming in from Japan. We had a couple of weeks worth of data, and Nintendo Switch 2 fared very well. Let's see, without pulling it up, the top best-selling systems of the week. Hi, Boo Mini, welcome. The top best-selling systems of the week went Nintendo Switch 2 by a long shot, something like 170,000. Nintendo Switch with like 37,000 or something like that. Then PlayStation 4 with something like 14,000, and Xbox Series with like 400. Without pulling up the exact chart, just know it was something like that. Like a huge gap between number 1, Nintendo Switch 2, and Nintendo Switch before going to PS5, Xbox Series. In software, in the top 10, I want to say it was a split of 3 Nintendo Switch 2 games to 7 Nintendo Switch games. All 10 out of 10 were on Nintendo. The best selling of those 10, Mario Kart World, and then Donkey Kong Bonanza was right up there as well. So yeah, this Thursday. So what my plan is that on Thursdays we could talk about anything video gaming, but the main thing that I want to do when I kick off the Thursday streams from now on is talking about the sales, going over the Famitsu sales chart for the week prior, and sharing that live. Sometimes we'll have something exciting to talk about because it's going to be like, oh wow, a new game came out and it just sold 570,000 copies, and the Nintendo Switch 2 sold another 200,000. Like, big numbers are always exciting. Sometimes it might be more tame, but I think every week is exciting because every week something's coming out, and every week there's like some type of evergreen title that's still blowing your mind that, wow, it's still there. So that's pretty fun. Brian C, you plan everything. Cool. Michael Gutmann, like all systems but prefer Nintendo. Yeah. You only have a Switch 2 but play on other people's consoles. Hey, that's all good. You want a PS5 but it's 500 plus. And 4K TV. Gonna buy my game. Like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a really good one on PS5. Yeah. Gale Garcia, hello. Welcome. Brian C, get a PC, could almost play all the non-Nintendo stuff. True. You have a PS5, but if it wasn't for NCAA football, it could go too. I could wait a little bit for Sony stuff to come to PC. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, if you are willing to spend a little bit more on a gaming PC, or at least upgrade what you have if you can to some modern PC standards, which then might not cost you an arm and a leg, you would have probably the most capable machine to play a good majority of third-party titles out there. Fair enough. However, it also depends on like the user comfort of, do you want to play at a desk or on the comfort of your couch? Not that you can't have a gaming PC hooked up to your TV in the living room in the entertainment center, but it's not as common to have something that big hooked up in said way, right? Like for me, this PC setup, this PC box itself, if I had it in the living room, it wouldn't be as fun of an experience, I think. I mean, then again, I've never done that before. Like, I've never had, all right, PC right here just for streaming purposes, for work purposes, uh, emails, stock market, students, classes, grading papers, like everything I do, whatever. And then like a whole other different unit, boop, stick it in the living room in the entertainment center, and like this thing just fire it up, and then bam, gaming PC. I guess I wouldn't be against it if that were to ever happen. But yeah, I've always associated couch with gaming console, playing on the TV, or a portable machine, Game Boy, DS, 3DS, Nintendo Switch 2. Pokemon Fan 34, hi. Steam Deck is cool. It can play most stuff reasonably well, but definitely not good for docking. It's not optimized or powerful enough to drive larger high-res displays. Yeah. Yeah. Steam Deck's a cool machine. I don't have one. I was very happy with my Nintendo Switch all 8 years before getting a Nintendo Switch 2. I have a PlayStation 5. I have an Xbox Series X. Going forward, I'm not so sure I'm going to need another Xbox machine next generation. If Microsoft's game is just going to be, hey, we are going to release a designated chunk of plastic. It's going to be powerful. It's going to play a lot of third-party games and first-party stuff from our own Microsoft studios. Come with a controller and all that stuff. Look like this. Fit it under your entertainment system. But every game that comes from our studios is going to come day and date and be properly optimized, equally so, based off of what that machine is capable of, not favoriting our system to make our system look good and the other ones not run well. But you could expect it day and date on Nintendo Switch 2 and PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch 3 eventually and PlayStation 6, etc. If that's the case, I don't think I'm going to buy an Xbox next gen. Why? Why would I? Unless, but this won't be the case probably, unless the difference in CPU speed, GPU speed, CPU power, GPU power, awesomeness, incredibleness out of the controller, cool factor of the system, etc., 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 is so amazing, price less, so amazing, that it absolutely destroys a PlayStation 6 or Nintendo Switch 2. And that all of these major third-party games and all of these major Xbox Microsoft Studios games run so much better on the next Xbox. But it comes out on everything as capable as each respective machine is able to run these games. Unless if that's the case, in this made-up scenario, why do I need to buy an Xbox anymore? You know what I mean? I like the idea. It's not as pro-consumer, but I like the idea of exclusives per system. I like the idea of companies working hard to create the best because they want to be the best, because they want you to buy their system, because that's an attractive selling point, and that's brand identity right there. You know what I mean? But if Microsoft's going to put everything everywhere, yeah, they'll make more money doing so, but I don't need an Xbox. In a way, PlayStation is doing something similar but less, because eventually Spider-Man gets put on PC, Helldivers 2 gets put on Xbox, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart gets put on PC, The Last of Us, PC, Uncharted, PC, MLB The Show on Nintendo Switch, Horizon with Lego as a team up on Nintendo Switch. So PlayStation, and we also hear from them moving forward, is going to branch out a little bit with where they put stuff. If you knew, moving forward, every big PlayStation game, the next Ghost of Yotei, Ghost of Tsushima, Wolverine from Insomniac Games, if you knew, 1 year later, that's all the exclusive nature that the system has, is 1 year. If you knew, 1 year later, Sony's plan here at PlayStation Studios, all of our games will launch first on the PS5, PS6, but 1 year later, will be ported to PC. Do you still buy a PlayStation anymore? Or do you just have the PC? Now, if they said all games 1 year later from PlayStation Studios will be ported to Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch 2, right? Do you still buy the PS5, 6? Or do you say, I could wait a year. There's enough third parties that come out. There's enough Nintendo stuff that comes out. Yeah, I'll play Wolverine at less fidelity, but I could wait a year. You know what I mean? I don't know. Nintendo, they bet on themselves. In the Nintendo 64 era, it was risky business because they lost a lot of third-party support in that era. And they haven't abandoned third-party support now. In fact, the Nintendo Switch 2 is Nintendo's, well, Nintendo Switch so far. But Nintendo Switch 2 might beat Nintendo Switch and become Nintendo's new best third-party machine since the Super NES. You know, GameCube was pretty good, but probably Super NES was their best third-party machine until Nintendo Switch. Nintendo, they've got their own games. They've got their own lineup. They're consistent. They've got a huge lineup of older games that they can remake, remaster, port, bump up in HD, put in a compilation, etc. Yeah. And a good portion of third parties. I always said, if a Nintendo would come out in the future and once again be the machine that is the only place to play Nintendo and plays most of the third parties, it's going to win the generation. It's going to be the main console, the main go-to for most people. And if this Nintendo Switch 2 gets the Call of Duties, which it will, gets the Maddens, which it is doing currently, has the wrestling games and the FC and the NBA 2Ks, and a little bit more, when it's a big one, Grand Theft Auto, gets the Dragon Balls and the Street Fighters and the Mortal Kombats, the Tomb Raider, Lara Croft's, Assassin's Creeds. Yeah, why do you need another system? Is PS5 and its pure exclusives enough? Are those exclusives even exclusive anymore? Or are they just timed? All of these things are reasons why, like, Nintendo Switch 2 is very likely going to win this upcoming generation against PS6 and whatever the next Xbox is called. Michael Gutmann, you've got an old 1080p TV, no HDR, you've got to upgrade. 1080p TV is plenty capable, but I think if you upgraded at this point, you'd be pretty happy with a 4K TV that's like OLED, that has 120 hertz available, that has a variable refresh rate with 2.1 HDMI ports in the back to really maximize things. Like, oh man, this would look pretty cool if you do. Small Little Man says Asus ROG Ally would probably be my go-to handheld PC. Like the Xbox One in general? Oh, the Xbox One or specifically the ROG Ally? I think you said the ROG Ally, right? Brian C. Definitely sold your Xbox and put it towards your PC fund. Yeah. If Xbox is on Switch, then I'm buying it there. Could you imagine? By the way, Sean Black, hello, hello. Could you imagine if Nintendo allowed it some way, somehow? Xbox Game Pass now on Nintendo Switch 2. Whether it was cloud only or Xbox Game Pass with some kind of limitation, that would be pretty big. Oof, that would be pretty big. Brandon White, you haven't played Brothership yet here. You know, I liked Mario and Luigi Brothership. I thought it was pretty good. If you haven't played it at this point, now see, I haven't tried it out on Nintendo Switch 2 yet, so I don't know how much better it plays, but I imagine it has to be a little bit better because everything is more optimized. Everything is optimized greater on Nintendo Switch 2. Runs, looks, performs a little bit better, loads up a little bit better. So even if they didn't do some big old patch, which I don't believe they did, it would be a little better. But even if not, even if you're playing it base Nintendo Switch, it's a pretty fun game. You know, maybe not of the quality of like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but I like Brothership. Let's see. Xbox gave up on hardware, in my opinion. There's a new ROG Ally. You could already go just buy it. Yeah, I mean, it'll be a little bit different with the Xbox specific support, branding, themed buttons, and quick access to Game Pass. But yeah, you can kind of get that experience sort of now. Spider-Man is so good. Yeah, it is. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2, and I'm stoked for Wolverine. Insomniac Games is a terrific studio, and you know they also did a great job with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. You give me an amazing X-Men game from them one day. Oof. Oof. I still need an X-Men game that's of the same quality as Spider-Man and Batman, Arkham Asylum, but X-Men, I need that one day. And I need a Superman game one day that's like of Arkham City nature in terms of quality. And eventually a Justice League game. X-Men, Superman, Justice League. All three of those I want to experience one day. That's why I stay healthy and I exercise, and even though I eat pizzas and cheeseburgers and stuff like that, I try to eat better than not, because I don't know when I'm going to get X-Men, Superman, and Justice League. But if it's going to take a while, I got to be around long enough for it, you know? I'm 42. I need to last at least another 60 years, just in case it takes that long for some of these companies to make some of my games that I'm looking forward to. Okay. Y'all talking amongst each other about Brothership. Pokemon Fan 34, what do you think of the new Direct leak for the second week of September? Might happen. That's around the time that I was thinking. I said, kind of in a fun way, September 3rd for normal Direct, and September 17th, because it's Charles Martinet's birthday, for a Mario Direct. Now, I don't know if we'll get one or both and on those days, but mid-September sounds totally right looking at the past. Jim Mann. Hey, Paul Gale, I'm glad to see you're doing a live show now. First chance I've had to watch some of it. Congrats. Thank you, Jim Mann. Thank you for being here. That's been fun. Yeah, that haptic controller and the DualSense 5, or no. Yeah, DualSense. Yeah, it's cool. I would really like to see, I was hoping that the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller 2, its like new gimmick kind of thing would be resistance capable analog sticks, so they could provide this kind of feeling. Bye, Brian C. Oh, Michael Gutmann, you got to go too? See you later also. Thank you both for being here. What was I saying? Yeah, like the controller to have haptics in it and this resistance capability that as you're moving around the analog stick, it could kind of push back against you. So if you're sludging through some honey as Mario, you could feel that little bit of pressure as you're pulling back the analog stick. Oh, Brian C., you're still here. Oh, you were saying bye to Michael Gutmann, I think. Ah, got it. As you're pulling back that bow and arrow with the analog stick, you can feel on the string. If you're Mario and you're skidding through ice with a new ice power-up, like, you know, in the next 3D Mario game, you could feel like, you know, scratching around the floor. Like, that'd be sweet. Now, they didn't do that, but they gave us Joy-Con 2s with improved rumble and mouse controller support. So you do have some stuff like with the Dragon Drive and feeling the, you know, more advanced than Nintendo Switch. So that's cool. But yeah, analog sticks that do something similar to the PS5 L2 and R2 buttons would be pretty dope. Pokemon fan, you like to see Peach? Maybe I'll bring her out. She probably wouldn't mind saying hi. I don't know about Switch Force. I wonder if he was leaking something else or... Yeah. Michael Gutmann's comment. Maybe. Zach has successfully talked about, you know, like the Nintendo Indie World Showcase. The Elemental Hero, the Shadow Link, Dragon Wolf King. I mean, depending on the price of the games, but it depends on what these three companies do on preservation. Yeah. Even if it's a slow path to get there, I'm in for it. If Nintendo doesn't ever go back on Nintendo Switch Online, and they just keep adding slowly but surely, forever, for decades to come, all of the games from NES, SNES, N64, GameCube that they can, from the first party point of view, and a good portion of the third parties, as long as those third party partners are okay with it, on board, etc., for here on out. And they never canceled the service. And do you always have to subscribe? Sure. So do you ever own them 100% necessarily? No. But sure, are you going to live forever anyways? Also no. So even if you own the physical, tangible mediums, because they released them all as such, like re-released all these old school games on cartridge or whatever, you're not going to be around long enough anyways for the history of time, because you're going to pass, unfortunately. But you would like to perhaps sell them to before you go help out your kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, or pass on the legacy of what you own to them to help better their futures, yeah. Or just for the sheer fact of not selling them, but just, yeah, pass it on so that they can enjoy it. In that case, without the selling possibility, but the passing on, continuing on your subscription. So, yeah, there's that. But that would be a decent preservation method if it was, okay, we're not rebooting again, like, you know, from Wii and Wii U, the things that you owned, they went away in Nintendo Switch. NSO was a brand new thing. Oh? Jim Man, looking a little bit like Chuck Norris with the stubble. Yeah, you know, it's been growing for a couple of weeks. You don't miss it when they're using a different controller. Oh, regarding the DualSense announcement and the shadow drop for Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been thinking about that lately. Hey, we got a big super chat. Free Metroid hat with $5. Thank you so much. So hyped for Lego Batman Legacy. of the Dark Knight for Switch 2. Now they just need to make a Lego X-Men game of that caliber. Dang it. Were you here, Free Metroid Hat? Like 5 minutes ago, I was talking about how much I would love to see a high quality X-Men game from Insomniac Studios that's like Spider-Man, that's like, uh, Arkham Asylum and stuff like that. But well, first of all, thank you one more time. Very nice of you. I really appreciate your $5 super chat. That's super cool. Means a lot. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And heck yeah, when that trailer went up for Batman, I was like, dude, this is the Dark Knight trilogy. This is the Batman Begins trilogy. You could tell. And then they went off and showing it. I'm like, this is beefy. Like, this is the equivalent of the Star Wars 9-pack that we got like a year or two ago, And that was a really good job too. It was all 9 films in there, lots of voice acting, lots of sets. This Batman one is like of that nature, so it's cool. And you're right. An X-Men one, dude, could you imagine the X-Mansion getting blown up and then having workers put the bricks back together and then like blown up again, and the funny things of how many times this happened, and recreating like Quicksilver scene with Legos and stuff. Like, dude, that would be so funny. Like, oh man, dang, a Lego X-Men game of the same quality as this Batman Dark Knight trilogy. Like I said, the Dark Knight. That's a good idea. Cool. That's cool. Free Metroid Hat, by the way. I gotta put you up here. Let's see. My setup is not the coolest necessarily, but I try. Pardon me as I change this a little bit. But that's a good idea. Cool. Does that look okay? I hope that looks okay. Thank you again. Where were we? That's exciting. That's exciting. The super chat means a lot, especially since, I'm only a couple of weeks into kind of regular streaming. I'm always very grateful for, your time being here, having a cool conversation, everyone getting along. I see the chat firing off back and forth, talking amongst each other. Me trying to get to everybody's questions too, but even when I'm not as fast as I would like to be, everyone's still talking amongst each other. It's awesome. So for being here, I'm grateful. Free Metroid Hat for dropping the dono, and Roman earlier. Extra thanks. Where are we? Speaking of being on top of comments. Oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2. I agree, Michael Gutman. Pokemon Fan 34. For the mainline direct, even Prime made a video about it. Hope he is right, or the web will chew him up. All we can do is speculate. If we're giving our opinion, it's really not fair to crush someone on their opinion, because everyone's got an opinion. Nate's got a platform of 160,000 people that are subscribed to him. But his opinions are just as valid as mine or yours or anyone's. So if he's sharing his excitement as any of us do, let him be excited. And if he's wrong, that was an opinion. That's a hope. That's a want. That's not right to get mad at someone if it didn't come true. I'm saying I would love to see a Nintendo Direct on September 3rd and a Mario Direct on September 17th because that's Charles Martinet's birthday. And I would be happy for my friend to be able to share a Direct on his birthday. And in that Direct, they have, Super Mario World announcement and announce that Charles Martinet will be back to reprise his role as Giuseppe and Mario and Luigi's father, and bring out the cast and have Anya Taylor-Joy there and Chris Pratt and Jack Black. And now introducing Jim Carrey as, Wario, and someone else as Waluigi. And like, here's the first trailer, boom, and here's Super Mario Galaxy 2 remastered, bundled in with Super Mario 3D Land HD and Super Mario 64 DS HD as Super Mario 3D All-Stars 2, coming to Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 this holiday season. But also, here's Super Mario 3D All-Stars coming back for a limited time on Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Switch 2 edition that you could also upgrade for free. And finally, we close the show after giving us like a new Mario Lego look, after announcing a new Mario Levi's collab. Here is what you were waiting for, a sneak peek at Super Mario Universe or Super Mario Galaxy 3 coming 2026. Like, that's my hype. If I'm wrong, I'm not claiming that I'm right. I'm just saying that's what I want. If it doesn't happen, could someone be justified in being mad at me? I wouldn't think that would be fair. Dude, that's just one guy's hopes and dreams of what I think would be cool, Anyways, I would hope that Nate wouldn't get chewed up for anything like that. How long will that last, though, especially with seeing problems on preservation? I'm not sure. Digital era should be easier than ever for somebody to make something last. Just re-up the service. Keep NSO going forever. Holy cow. Roger Enyart with $5 super chat. Happy Monday all, listening and lurking, showing some support. Thank you very much for that support. That's very nice of you. Super cool. Let's see. I gotta go with another color here. It's a small thing for me to do, but for me it means a lot to give a little bit of a highlight as a small bit of thanks for you being here in the first place, and then also being kind enough to help support the stream, even though it's not as cool and flashy, as some streamers that have been doing this for a long time, like Player Essence, OJ over there, Nintendo Prime, Nate, for instance. This is what I've got right now. And know that despite it looking kind of the gratitude is real. So thank you, Roger Enyart. And happy Monday also. Yamato Reborn. Paul, what is up, my man? Or what is up, man? Talking gaming today. It's a good day. I feel bad in a way that I've got to end the stream in like 6 minutes or so, because 1 second, it's regarding this. Today's my dad's birthday, and we're all meeting up for dinner for him, and yeah, so I have to leave in like 5 minutes. But I do want to make sure I get to these last bits. Last thing I want to do is like, all right, thanks for the money, bye. No, because I'm very grateful for your contribution, and I'm grateful to everybody, paying money or not, just for being here and just for showing up. It means a lot. Did Mana use DLSS, or did they brute force the resolution? I don't know. I'd be very interested to hear EA's take on that. Like, what exactly did they do? Nintendo Switch 2 is in an interesting position. Developers don't have to use gas full pedal to the metal and use the whole CPU, GPU, all what the system is capable of just to crank out 160 miles per hour. They've got NOS. They've got some nitrous oxide on the side that they could flip on, not use as much gas pedal to the metal, and use this nitrous boost to get to 160. Do that. Use less resources of your car's main horsepower. Use less resource of that engine. Use the little bit of NOS that whatever is going to help you get to the finish line anyways. Take it easy on the system. Learn how to develop for it. That'll come in time, though. We're going to see it come in time. I think when people get a better hand on it, you might say, oof, yeah, we're developing this thing at, 720p docked. It's demanding. It's a beefy boy. But we're going to use DLSS, make it to go to 1440p, and it's going to look awesome on your TV. And maybe that's it, right? Michael Gutmann, I believe him. I'm just confused about it. I don't watch his video. Oh, regarding the whole September 12th thing. It could be. Once they have a slightly more powerful Switch 3, I don't think I'm going to need to upgrade again. We'll see. Okay, you're talking amongst each other. Back and forth on Madden. Hot take, Insomniac Games is probably the best non-Nintendo studio. They might be. They're definitely up there. Well, now, Capcom is an amazing third-party developer with how much variety they have, how many different types of games they create, the different genres, how many platforms they've been on over the decades. Capcom is my favorite third-party developer, but Insomniac Games is like also quite up there. Do I trust the 9/12 date? Yeah, maybe. Oh wait, did I scroll up too high? Hold on, I might have scrolled up too high. Oh no, that was it. Oh yeah, because we got free Metroid hat and the $5. Oh wait a minute, another free Metroid hat? Oh, another Metroid hat. Free Metroid hat. Always love seeing the Samus statue back there. I want the light suit Samus figure so bad. And that one doesn't exist anymore. But you are so right. That light suit Samus from First Four Figures is such an awesome statue that I don't own. That unless if I ever decide to like go back and buy it, I probably never will own, because and I know they go up in price a lot. They go up in value. I've seen mine go up in value. I know that this is the thing, So unless if you're willing to spend a lot more on some of these, yeah, you probably missed out. And then the best thing that you could do is start collecting when you can, because they're never going to go down in price. They're going to come out, they're going to sell out, and then you're going to have missed your opportunity. Unless, like I said, you're willing to spend a lot more. Like my Bowser statue, see, I would love to have Bowser in here, but he's actually too big. So he's prominently located in my living room. That Bowser statue is worth so much these days. I'm never going to sell it. I'm never going to sell this girl right here. I love this Samus Aran. And that's a light up version. I should have her lit up one of these days. I'm never going to sell my statues. This Mario and Yoshi one too. I've got some others. I got an awesome R-Wing. I have Ryu from Street Fighter here. That one's not First Four Figures. I've got a Meta Ridley over there. Yeah, I've got a good collection. I love them. Buy them when you can. You'll never have the opportunity again once they sell out. They did recently start making like a PVC line of statues. Like I bought the Metroid Samus Aran smaller PVC one. Oh, that one's in the living room. Wait, living room? Where is that one? Oh yeah, living room. Yeah, Samus. This one used to be in the living room. Oh, there's the King of Red Lions. Obviously, I have that one. I love that one too. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I missed having the big Samus in the living room because I put her here. That I had to get another Samus, the PVC one, for the living room. But yeah, if they get that light suit Samus free Metroid hat, buy that PVC one, because it's gonna be, they're not gonna remake the old Polystone one unless if you're willing to spend $1,000+ Yeah, that's it. However, could they make a really cool looking Metroid Dread one day? Or something new for Metroid Prime 4 eventually? Could be. Ah, I feel bad that I gotta close the screen soon. Yamato Reborn, hello. Welcome. Brian C., your stream is kind of jank. Has a little retro char feel to it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a little bit jank. The talk and the conversation is real. The setup, though, I'll admit, it's not the quality of visual performance that you get with the bells and the whistles and the sound going off and all of that. But, like, my intent and the conversation and all that, oh, that's all there, you know? I've got 25 years or so of video game industry work and experience. Yeah? E3 2000, that was my first one. Tsukino Ame, hi everyone. Hi Paul. Hello Tsukino Ame, welcome. Brian C, agree with me on the Capcom being fire. Yeah. Switch 2 has nice horsepower. It really does. Even without the DLSS, it's pretty darn powerful. But with the DLSS, dude, that's a game changer. They just gotta further maximize it, optimize that. Free Metroid hat. Hopefully we get Pokemon Coliseum and Paul Gale of Darkness by the end of the year. Hopefully. Yeah, I think we will. We know they're coming. Now it's just a matter of between the middle of August, or end of August kind of now. Got 4 months and a week left or something like that. Like 18 weeks or so of the year left. I think we'll get both of them out. I think I caught up everything. Oh, wait. Waiting patiently for Coliseum. Okay. Pokemon fans comment. Joy-Con 2 may have issues after discovered being somewhat similar to Joy-Con 1. We'll see. Everything's probably eventually going to experience some kind of drift, but from what I've experienced so far, no problem with my Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller or Joy-Cons. Brian C, ready for the Direct. And then, could you imagine drift issues with adaptive analog sticks? Imagine Nintendo pranking everybody on April Fools and making everyone's Joy-Cons simultaneously, all their analog sticks simultaneously, like, wig out. That would be funny. That would be funny. And I think, yeah, I got to that comment on the September 12th possibility. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's it, because I probably should have left 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, to get to my dad's birthday dinner on time. But I think that leaving in 1 minute will be okay also, because everything's pretty local. Okay. Well, dang. These continue to be so much fun. You know, maybe I'll put a poll up on my channel asking you all, in Pacific Standard Time times, what would be the most ideal time for me to stream throughout the week? Because I'd love to get everybody who's interested in here at once, but for folks coming all over the world, there are all sorts of different times, right? Oh shoot, free Metroid hat. I just realized that your there we go. Your top super chat of the day was a little bit hidden there. Sorry. Now it should be okay. It'd be great to have everybody at once in here, but people come from all over the world, and you know, someone might not be able to be here at their 3 a.m. time. Is not convenient. Someone else at 6 p.m. Oh, it's perfect. But hopefully we could get a couple of streams throughout the week that satisfy most, and then maybe for others I could do like an adjacent stream, a little side one, etc. Okay, I think that's it for now, because now I'm getting called. Now I gotta go. Brian C, hope you have an awesome dinner. Thank you so much. Tsukino Ame, hope your dad has a good birthday dinner. Thank you. Pokemon fan 34, yes, I suppose in response to something I must have said. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much. Free Metroid hat for the $15. Roman for the $10, kicking the stream off with that very early on. And Roger Enyart for the $5. You're all awesome. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I'll be back later on. I mean, whether I'm streaming again today or not, maybe not. But you'll see me in some other way. I have shorts coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow, what is tomorrow? If I'm not mistaken, I think you're gonna like tomorrow's. It's a good one. It's a good one. Today's, let me know what you thought of the. Oh, we didn't even talk about. Well, we talked a little bit about. What did you think about the James Bond GoldenEye 007 short that I put up today? It was pretty fun. I had a lot of fun with it. It was really cool to do. My wife helped me out with it. My son helped me out with it, and like it was great. And then it made me do like, an additional picture and little video and stuff like that. Yeah, Nintendo Prime's got a stream today. I'll pop in there. I like supporting Nate. I like supporting OJ, Player Essence. He'll probably have a stream too. So, yeah, I'll be around. Brandon White, thank you, everybody. Yeah, oh, it was sick. Good. Short was great. Thanks a lot. It was cool. My favorite. Yeah, my favorite one too, I think, from this series, for sure. All right. Woo! I don't know how many times to say bye. If you can't tell,